Welcome back. Today we're going to take this motor apart so we can clean all the grease off everything and get it ready to be reassembled and possibly replace the springs that are in here. Now obviously we know it doesn't crank, but when I do crank it, we can observe that the outside spring barrel moves and the inside one doesn't. And it's not supposed to move like that. It's supposed to actually crank. If I hold it down a little bit, you can see it does actually crank up, but depending on what position it is, sometimes it doesn't always crank and it feels like it's slipping. And also when you do actually hold this, particularly with the towel in place, and I'm not going to do it now, but if you wind it up enough and release it slowly, you can actually hear the spring chattering inside, and that's a symptom of the grease inside being dried up. And I initially thought that this was actually cleaned, and it does look like it has some hard grease on it. So just a general good cleaning on this is going to be the first thing we're going to do before anything else. And to do that, we have to obviously disassemble it. Now the actual motor plate does come off of this outer plate here, which is assembled to the wood frame. And if I flip this over here carefully and show you, there are 3 screws that if I remove this spindle piece and everything just drops right out the bottom, or better yet, I can just lift this off the top and we have a free motor. And then if I wanted to, which I'm not going to really get into, but if you wanted to clean this metal plate up and to remove that from the wood, you would just obviously undo all the remaining screws from around the outside perimeter here, and also the brake adjustment. Now in this I mentioned there's a spring missing. I actually looked on Amazon. There's a set of springs that you can get for almost $10. They're cheap. It comes with, you know, a giant container of different size springs. So you can just pick one of those up cheaper than probably you could pick up an individual spring, and you'll have more than enough for different repairs. But I'll put a link in the description below if I can remember which one it was. But yeah, I'm going to have to get one of those to fix the brake mechanism up here. And that's going to do it for the top plate for now. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those screws and leave this plate inside here, and we'll take this bottom plate out into the shed where we'll start to disassemble it. I picked up some supplies to make this project easier. I got this degreaser today from Lowe's. It wasn't too expensive. I think like $9 tops. The rest of these supplies over here came from my local Dollar Tree, which of course meant it was $1 a piece. I got a couple of these small bins. There's 5 in a pack with a lid. Got some larger ones over here and some squat ones. There's 3 in a pack of each of these. You got a wire brush. May or may not use this, but it's good to have handy. If anything, it's good for cleaning the grill. Also got a little veggie brush, which is soft bristles. This might be good for the delicate stuff. We got a large scrubber here. Again, it's only $1. Even got a pair of extra safety goggles. Actually, going to check these out a little later, see how well they are. I have another pair out in the shed, which are a lot nicer, but these, you know, only $1. What do you expect? Also, nice pack of sponges. These are actually really nice sponges. And a set of gloves that are dipped. I'm going to use this for the disassembly and reassembly, just so I, you know, have a protected finger grips that are also kind of protectant from the grease and crap we're going to be working with. When I was just doing some grocery shopping, we passed by the aisle that has all the little hardware stuff in my local grocery store, and I just happened to grab these. I think they were $2. I could wear these underneath these gloves over here just to give myself a little extra level of protection, since the backs are open, especially if I'm dipping my hands into any of the degreaser here. And that's basically all we're going to really use. I'm going to have to pack up my camera equipment here and take it out to the shed where we'll start doing the disassembly of the actual motor unit. I got everything set up, and I'm actually working on a table outside. And a couple things to point out before I go too much further. Right now, I'm actually smoking a salmon, and that being said, I can't actually run the smoker and my outdoor studio lights all at the same time, so it's a little dark. I apologize for that. And since I am kind of doing that and this at the same time, I will be going back and forth between the smoker and actually at some point maybe the grill, because tonight we're having smoked salmon with some shrimp kebabs, and I'm putting some little clams in the grill. Got my brother here. He's actually doing some martial arts moves in the background over here while I'm just tooting roll here. But the point of this video at this point is just going to be just disassembling this unit. I have little parts cups over here in the background, so I'm going to take one cup out and start with one piece at a time here and separate them out. I will spare the boredom of actually going through this process. There's definitely tons of videos already on YouTube of going through step by step each individual little piece here, so I'm not going to do that. I will show you my course of action. We're going to start with the crank over here, which is just a counterclockwise. You turn on it, it'll come right off. We had to take it off to get the thing out anyway, so we just put it back on just to test things out. I will show you turning this. As you can see, causes the outside drum to turn. It's really not supposed to do that. It's supposed to start turning the spring inside instead, and eventually it'll start turning later on when this engages. So either the grease inside's hardened or the spring is broken, or both. But at any rate, we do have to take this thing apart to get to that and find out. We'll start with the crank, like I said, then we'll come over here and start working with the speed control. I do have to be careful. There is a pretty nasty hornet flying around here. It's been bugging me all afternoon, but there's the two set screws here and here. Those screws will allow the governor to come out. We're going to take the little adjustments in here, because these pieces are actually adjustable, and we'll put them in the bin immediately, because there's little ball bearings in the end of these right here. You can actually see my little bin here. I've actually taped off all four edges with masking tape just to seal that edge around here, since this is an open cardboard box, and that way it'll keep anything from trying to disappear down there, because those ball bearings are tiny. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple little pieces here, and I'll come back to the camera when I have something interesting to show you. Got one of the pin holders off of this governor here, and it's pretty gummed up in there, but there is a little BB inside there. Also, this has got a little keying indicator on here. Not sure if the other side has one yet or not, but we'll get into that here in a second. And as I imagine, the side facing the inside here doesn't actually have any keying marks on it. So this is going to be the one that's going to be more adjustable, so we can adjust the tension on those pins. I went ahead and put the governor in a separate tub over here in the background, and we have all those screws in here and the retention clips. So we're going to keep that separate. And we're going to go ahead now and start by taking out the next piece over here, which is going to be the spindle. This particular model has a screw up on the top here, which I'm assuming should actually give us a little bit of playroom here. And there's also a little screw down in the bottom over here that will have to go in with the screwdriver. We can actually see that, or I can see at least, that there's one here on this gear, and there's also one down here on this clip. That's a retention clip, and that'll allow us to pull the spindle out. So I'm going to go ahead and also take a look at that. I reached a bit of an impasse right now. I actually have to go ahead and get my WD-40 and spray it and soak this section here just to get these two pieces to slide out freely. Haven't quite worked out exactly how to get the spindle out, other than removing this screw that's over here, which would actually allow this actual bracket to come right off, and then I can remove it that way. Now I understand the newer units, that was just a cast unit, all one piece, and the spindle came in and out a completely different way. And I did try to find a 1913 model like this in a video that was at least close to it, and unfortunately it had a different motor, and there are some differences between all the different years, it seems like. So as I dig deeper and deeper into this, I come to find out things a little bit more interesting on it. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and soak this in WD-40, and I'll let that get in there and make this loose, and we'll also try to see if we can work this out, how it's going to come apart. I managed to get the spring barrel out, which should allow me to get this out now. I still have to take the front part off, but I removed the back plate, just 2 screws, and that allowed me to pull the spring barrel right out. And we're going to take note over here of the little catch mechanism. The actual claw end sits on the outside, and the rounded off end sits on the outside. And we'll take note of that. That should pop right out, as should the gear right below it. We'll take that whole section apart, and we'll also remove that and pop that out. The spring barrel, we'll take another look at here in a few minutes. This thing has a lot of weight to it. We have to use a lot of care when we work with that thing. All right, just as I suspected, I did have to actually remove that bracket to get the spindle free. Pardon me, I have one of my gloves off. It's getting kind of greasy in here now, that especially since I sprayed everything with WD-40. It's starting to work out all the old gunk. And you could see there's definitely spots on here where it's really caked up. So this is going to be some good rehab. One of the things I noticed was right here, this screw is missing. And that screw is what allows this collar to stay on, and it keeps this gear and this rod assembly from moving in and out. Unfortunately, that's been missing. It wasn't on here when I started taking everything apart. And I noticed that it's caused some wear in here, so now it's going to be hard to get this off. So I do have to actually give this a little bit of attention first before I can actually get this out, if I want to continue taking that apart. The other piece here should just come right out. Now there is that pin that I had to figure out a way to overcome, or we can go ahead and slide this gear up. Now it still seems like it's stuck, so I'm going to have to maybe lightly just tap it with a rubber mallet and a brass punch or something, but I do have to be careful because this is a brass gear. I'll also try to see if I can clean any of the gunk off this worm gear here. Now there are some things I have to note before I go a little further with this. What I do have to do after getting the spindle out and somehow getting this heavy guy apart here is figure out if the spring's broken or not, and if I'm going to replace them at any rate, because I do have to actually order those. And also the place that sells them has all the gear lube and bearing lube and all that stuff. There's all different pieces that they sell, so I have a list made up. With that, and given the time limits that I have to shoot the particular footage tonight, that's going to do it for this video here. What I'm going to do is get the rest of this cleaned up that I can here tonight. I have everything in individual bins. They're going to get closed up. I'll give everything a good dousing of the WD-40 just to keep it clean for now, and then when I get a chance during the week, everything's going to get cleaned up with the degrease solution, whatnot. And I do have another quick little thing I'll probably end up shooting tonight after I'm done editing this, and it's just going to discuss some things that are going on with the contest that I have. The contest is supposed to end the day that this particular footage is going to air. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of entries in there, and I kind of want to make it fair for everyone to have a chance to get in there. So I'm going to find a way to extend it, and that way it'll be a lot more fair for everyone else. But anyway, guys, I want you to thank you for watching this right now. We'll have another video coming up on this particular subject in the next couple days once I get everything cleaned up. And thanks for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. That's how you help grow my channel. And have a great day.